You are listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern vitality. If you are seeking to reconnect with your innate vibrancy, you're in the right place. I'm Emily Davis, a seasoned holistic esthetician and herbalist. Join me as we unlock the secrets of ancient skincare practices, explore the beauty of seasonal and nature-based living, herbalism, and true holistic well-being for you and the broader ecosystem. This podcast is brought to you by Stratum Aesthetics. Head to stratumaesthetics.com to find curated skincare, body care, and other wellness products hand-selected by me. Now enjoy the show. Welcome back to Skin, Earth, Vitality. It's been a minute, hasn't it? It's been a whole summer, in fact. And I'm so glad to be back. It's just so crazy. I haven't even been in my office at home all summer. I just took the summer off from creating in this way, and it was so needed. I really needed the rest. I needed some time to recalibrate and kind of think of what exactly I'm doing with my business, the direction I'm taking the podcast. But also it just felt so nostalgic to take the summer off and then to just enjoy those like juicy, abundant days of the summer. And I think I'm going to try to look for different ways to take summer off in any way that I can moving forward. And I was still, I see clients. So I was still working with clients, running my online store, all of those things. It was really just a break from the content creation. Really, I stepped back from Instagram. What I did do was I worked on this project, this challenge. This is the fourth time I've done this challenge, but it's a write an essay a day for 30 days. And so I participated in that, and I added my essays to Substack, which if you're not on Substack, I highly recommend. It's kind of a nice antidote to Instagram or TikTok. It's long form content. It's people who are out there writing essays and newsletters and blogs. And I really enjoy it. It feels very nourishing to me. So if you are on Substack, hang out with me there. It's really fun. I really enjoy it. But it's back to work time. It is back to school time as I'm recording this, and you'll be listening to this early September, which is just like, such a beautiful, fresh, new, creative time. And before we get into the episode today, I do want to share that this podcast is brought to you by Stratum. That is my company. So I see clients for facials, but the main part of my work in the broader sense is that I really want to redefine how we interact with our own beauty. I want to be here with you as you rewrite your own relationship with your beauty. And with that, I have a skincare and body care apothecary online on my website. It's my online store, and it's a curation of my favorite products. I've spent 18 years studying skin, obsessively studying ingredients. I've spent my entire career learning about what actually supports the skin and also what doesn't, because I want to help people cut through the noise. And there is so much noise out there. We've got conventional skincare. We've got like green/clean beauty. And then we have this other thing, which is where I'm interested in, and that's skincare that actually supports your skin. What a novel idea. I've curated a collection of products that are part of that category. Anything that actually supports your skin health is going to inherently be clean. It's going to inherently be eco-friendly and not toxic to your body. but not all clean skincare actually supports your skin. So we've got a fine line that we want to walk there. And what I've done with my online shop is just take the guesswork out of it for you. My work in the podcast, in my content, is to help educate so that you can understand your skin better. But I also know that there is so much value in just taking that guesswork out so you can just trust what you're buying. So I do have a link in the show notes to my online shop, my online apothecary, and I'll be talking today about a few of my favorite hydrating products. So be sure to head to the link in the notes to shop for those and all of the other products that I have available. All right, let's get into the show. Today, I want to talk about hyaluronic acid. This is one of the most asked about things that I get in my treatment room. And even when it's not asked about, people are using it, but I feel like sometimes aren't always sure why or have some vague sense that it's hydrating the skin, but it's just one of those ingredients that we've been told we should use, we think we should use, and it's very trendy. It's talked about in advertising like this magic moisture magnet that makes your skin plump and dewy. And I think it's very easy when we're taking in this marketing in this way to operate from a do this for that mindset. So I'm so dry, I need hyaluronic acid, without actually understanding like why you're dry, or in this case, dehydrated in the first place. And so you know me, I'm always looking at things through a holistic lens. I want to think of the whole body, whole spirit, whole environment that somebody is living in. And one thing I think that we should talk about in this conversation is that topical hydration is not the same as internal hydration, right? Topical hydration is kind of like misting leaves on a plant. You know, there's those little cute little plant misters. I have a million of them. And they're amazing. They hydrate the leaves of the plant. They can help perk things up a little bit. They can cool things down. They can slow moisture loss. They can help to mimic a humid environment, especially for me here in Colorado. Some of my plants need a little more humidity in the air. But if the roots of that plant are dry and the soil is all dried out and it's not holding water, that plant's still going to be in trouble, right? So when it comes to hydration for our skin, we need to make sure that water is actually going into the cells. We need to hydrate at a cellular level. And then you might be surprised to learn that your body actually makes its own hyaluronic acid. And it's one of the ingredients that your body naturally makes to help cushion and hydrate the inner terrain. And babies are full of it. That's what makes them so cute and squishy. And as we age, it degrades and we make less of it. But there are ways to support your natural hyaluronic acid, helping it not degrade, and then also helping your body to make it more effectively. I myself don't personally take hyaluronic acid capsules. You can buy it in like a pill form. But it just kind of goes back to that reductionist thinking in my mind, like this do this for that mindset. And I'm much more interested in supporting the body's natural rhythm than supplementing something in isolation. I like to focus on the things that help my system make and hold on to hyaluronic acid. So vitamin C is going to protect it. Minerals like magnesium and zinc are going to help support the enzymatic pathways. Bone broth and meat stock are going to give foundational nourishment. They're going to give the building blocks to make hyaluronic acid. And so that approach to me feels more aligned with how I think about skin and just working with your body rather than always trying to override it. So If your internal hydration is dialed in, your fascia's flowing, your extracellular matrix is plump and it's juicy, you may not need a topical hyaluronic acid serum. But even if you've got it all going on, everything's thriving internally, you might still like it because your skin is still in constant conversation with your external environment where you live. So let's zoom out for a second. Hyaluronic acid is what's called a humectant. That just means that it pulls water toward itself. Other ingredients that are humectants are things like aloe, glycerin, honey, marshmallow is an herbal form of a humectant called a mucilage. And like I said, humectants pull water to themselves. And one of the first things that you learn in esthetician school is hyaluronic acid holds 1,000 times its weight in water. So that's like drilled into your head. It's like the same mentality of drilling in the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So every esthetician ever always will know that hyaluronic acid holds 1,000 times its own weight in water. So it's holding water close to the skin. And that can be helpful, especially if you are a human and you're exposed to things like cold wind and dry air, indoor heat, blue light exposure. All of these things are going to contribute to water evaporation in the skin. So you can think of hyaluronic acid like a sponge or a magnet for moisture. It can help your skin feel plumper and smoother and even temporarily more elastic. And in dry climates or winter conditions, this can provide real relief for tightness or flaking, anything like that. And I do actually carry formulas in my shop that have hyaluronic acid. I do want to say though, because I'm going to get into all of the potential problems with hyaluronic acid next. These formulas have it together with herbs and lipids that are going to buffer it and seal it in. And we're going to talk about why that's so important shortly. But hyaluronic acid is a large sugar molecule, and it's holding that water at the surface. And because of that, it actually can create a hydrating film over the surface. It's kind of like this moisture net, and anything else in the formula that's water soluble, like herbal extracts, can sit in that watery matrix for much longer than they would. Like if you were to put, say, tea is a water extract. So let's say you made like a rose tea, for example, and you wanted to put that on your skin, or a rose hydrosol. These are both water extracts. If you're putting that on your skin, it's going to evaporate off. It's not going to just sit there on the skin forever. But hyaluronic acid can create that watery matrix and allow those water-soluble extracts to sit there and interact with your skin for longer. So the ambient moisture liquid, I'm obsessed with this serum. It's so good. I recommend it for most skin types. It's gorgeous. It makes your skin look and feel so plump and dewy. It has marshmallow. It has a plant that I love called Self-Heal. Like, can you imagine a plant that's just called Self-Heal? And that's going to help with lymphatic movement and obviously supporting healing within the skin. We have linden, who is one of my absolute plant BFFs. That's going to help hydrate, but also gently tone and soothe skin. And the product smells like strawberries. And it was actually the product that made me fall in love with Live Botanicals. I read the ingredients and then I put it on my skin and I was like, okay, I don't care about anything else. I need this whole line in my life. I'm obsessed. But that's my favorite hyaluronic acid because it's interacting with other ingredients. And so with that said, I would not necessarily call hyaluronic acid a hero. It's not a villain, but it's certainly not a hero. It's really just an ingredient where the context is everything. It matters what product it's put into. You are not going to find me just picking up any random hyaluronic acid serum and putting it on my skin, because I know that hyaluronic acid can actually cause a lot of damage. Whether it actually hydrates your skin depends on the environment and that formula. Without oils or what are called occlusives, so basically like a seal, without those ingredients to seal that water in, it can actually have the opposite effect and dehydrate your skin. So it's not inherently bad, but it is highly misunderstood. It's talked about like it's just the gold standard in hydration, and I do not believe that. If you're looking at a product label, you might not see hyaluronic acid. It may be listed as that, but you may also see it as sodium hyaluronate or hydrolyzed HA or hydrolyzed hyaluronic acid. So just know these are all versions of the same thing, and how they act on your skin is going to depend on the rest of the formula. And my main issue is how it's often isolated or overused or applied with the wrong expectations. It should just be a backup singer. It is not the star of the show. In a lot of conventional skincare, you're often going to see it in these really lightweight serums that are basically just water, hyaluronic acid, and then a bunch of buzzy ingredients like niacinamide or vitamin C, all thrown together in what I like to call an actives soup. And while that sounds very impressive on the surface, there's usually no real support for your skin barrier. There's no calming herbs, there's no nourishing oils. And so a lot of people, especially if your skin is already feeling dry or reactive, those serums are going to leave you more dehydrated over time. So there's a huge irritation potential with hyaluronic acid, and that may surprise you because hyaluronic has this reputation of being so gentle, so hydrating, so universal. But the thing is it's not always that skin soothing hero. So universal. But not all hyaluronic acid is created equally. First of all, the size of the molecule makes a huge difference. Low molecular weight forms are quite small and they can sink deep into your skin. And that, I guess, sounds really good in theory, but your body might actually interpret that as a danger signal. And the reason for that is because your body naturally produces fragmented hyaluronic acid when it's injured. It's part of our inflammatory response. And so when you're applying those fragments topically, especially on stressed out skin that's already really compromised, it can actually trigger like little alarm bells in your skin, leading to redness and irritation and even breakouts. So your skin's like thinking it's under attack. And so I used to think like, oh, you naturally make hyaluronic acid, so it's totally a bioidentical ingredient to put on the surface of the skin. But it's crazy because there's just so much more to the story. Our bodies are so dynamic and they're so elegant. And that's incredible, but it's not always as simple as, oh, I make this in my body, so putting it on the surface is good. There's more to the story. So the second concern is overhydration or like a dependency that you can start to have. And the thing is, our skin isn't meant to be soaked like a sponge all the time. When we're constantly loading it with humectants, especially without sealing them in with oils or supporting the deeper hydration system, it's easy to start to confuse the skin's natural function. The skin's getting this message like it's all covered. I don't need to make my own moisture factor. And over time, skin can get kind of dependent on products for hydration instead of staying self-regulated. Without the right structure, like what are called ceramides and then lipids or oils, it can actually lead to a weaker barrier, which over time will dehydrate your skin more. And then finally, when we're using that HA as the star and it's not in a good formulation, it's drawing water from somewhere, right? So we may be drawing water from the air, but if there's no water in the air, hello, Colorado, it's going to be drawing water actually from your skin and dehydrating the skin. For all of these reasons, hyaluronic acid, I do think can be helpful. It's not something that I'm drawn to as like a hero ingredient. It's not something I'm seeking out often. I do think that it can have a helpful benefit in some scenarios and in the right formulation. That is absolutely key. But there are concerns with it. And I think that we need to be really discerning when we're buying our skincare, understanding exactly why. As an herbalist, I love to lean on whole plants like marshmallow root, violet leaf, plantain. These are all mucilaginous herbs that are not just going to hydrate, but they also soothe and restore. They repair. They're alive, which is a big thing as well. And then, of course, from my vitalist lens, I want to ask, why is there this surface issue? Why is there dehydration happening? Is it a sign of something deeper? Is there stagnation? Where are you feeling depleted? And of course, I want to tie this back to my work of how do we work on rewriting our personal relationship with beauty? And redefining beauty really means that we stop treating dryness like a malfunction that needs to be patched with a serum. It's this deeper invitation to tend to the waters of our body, to tend to the waters of our life in the pace that we are moving through the world. If your skin's feeling crispy, take this message. Add in a beautiful serum if that's what's supportive to you, if it has living supportive ingredients. This is one really nice way to love on yourself and start to replenish those reserves. But that's just a small place to come back into rhythm. If you want more ways, that's what this show is all about. So keep listening. Hit up some of the past episodes. I'm working on creating this beautiful living library of this. I'm very proud of the work I've produced, and it's all for you. It's to help you cut through this noise and come back into relationship with your beauty. So that's my take on hyaluronic acid. Not a hero, not a villain, a neutral tool that needs to be used wisely and in the right context, with support for the terrain below your skin. If this got you thinking about your products differently or even your approach to hydration, I would love to hear from you. Reach out through the link in the notes. I'll put my email address. Browse the apothecary if you're looking for truly skin supportive formulas. I'm coming back next week to talk about beauty, conscious consumerism, and capitalism. So I'm really excited for that episode. Until then, be well. You've been listening to Skin, Earth, Vitality. If you like what you heard today, consider giving me a 5-star rating. It helps other people just like you to find the show. You can shop products and find all of my offerings on my website, stratumaesthetics.com, and follow me on my social channels @stratumaesthetics.